Hello, beloved listeners, and welcome to Snake People at the Movies, film criticism by people who actually like film. Join us as we dive into movies we love, movies we respect, and movies we wish we could unsee. It's the podcast where we talk about growing up and living queer, nerdy, and depressed, online and at the cinema. From the kids who just want to go solve a mystery with Hercule Poirot, it's Sneople at the Movies. I'm Ezra.
I'm Helena.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're going to go ahead and jump right into our what we've seen for this week. And then we're going to reveal the topic of the episode like fucking somebody jumping out of a cake and singing in the rain or something.
Let that cake be
20
comic.
years you know me.
And you don't want to see me jump out of the cake.
Jump out of the cake.
You insult me.
I was so hoping that was the joke that was going to come out of that.
Good.
Same brain. Same brain.
Same brain.
Same brain? Same brain.
Same brain.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so I didn't see very much. I rewatched John Wick 3. Still fucking rules. I rewatched Jurassic Park. Still fucking rules. And then I saw the Henry V with Kenneth Branagh with Z. We watched that together. That was the first time I'd ever seen it, even though people for years have been like, Matthew, please. And I've been like, yeah. And then I didn't. But I finally watched it.
We still love you.
Thank you. And God, it was so good. God, it was so good. I just started a new job. As you may have noticed, just because of the last couple of weeks, we had an unexpected, like, we were going to do 3 weeks in a row, and we didn't. Partly it's because I just started a new job, so I've been super busy, so I have not had a chance to watch a lot of things.
Capitalism.
Understandably.
Really cuts into your film appreciation time.
God, tell me about it.
Yes. Though, thankfully, with my new job, the work-life balance is a lot better. So, actually, I think it'll end up so I have more time to watch movies now, which is
so good!
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you!
Yes. Thank you. So, that's what I've seen, which is not much.
Ezra, I think you should go first.
Oh, no, you go first because mine has a doofy segue into the topic of this episode.
Oh, okay. So, I've watched a few movies. Let's see. I rewatched Rear Window a couple weeks ago when I was feeling low.
Nice.
I rewatched Four Weddings and a Funeral with Madeline from the podcast, which I am counting as part of my Hugh Grant Rotten Tomatoes challenge, even though it is not in order. It's just like I watched it.
That's fine.
And we chose it randomly out of a series of movies that I brought over to her house to watch. Where we prepped Halloween costumes, so I'm counting it. It was good.
Okay, but when you get back to it in the order, are you going to watch it again?
No, I am not.
Oh, okay.
Because I've watched it, like, twice very recently. I've also seen it a million times, too, so I can just, like, watch it in my brain if I need to, like, oh, shoot, I need to watch Weddings and a Funeral. Okay, boop.
Time to just, like, sit it, like, zone out on the bus, watch Four Weddings and a Funeral in your head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also, I discovered while I was at Madeline's a beautiful, beautiful thing, which is that if you let the disc just play to the end of the credits, it restarts.
No way!
So, we were just like, is it going to start
infinite
again?
recursion
is it
of
go to the menu? That's the
beauty
of Blu-rays. It just start from the very beginning.
That's bonkers.
I also rewatched Henry V. So weird how that happens.
God, I wonder why.
Rewatched that with my parents. It's a big family movie in our house. My parents reference it a lot, so we all rewatched it together. My dad actually brought it up. He was like, "You want to rewatch Henry V?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, I do."
Actually, Father, I would love that.
Actually, Father, and
delightful.
Last night, I rewatched Before Sunrise, which is the first movie in the Before trilogy. I've been meaning to for a few weeks now because I recently spent, like, not a lot of money, but, like, enough money on the Criterion version of the Before trilogy, which is seemingly the only way that you can find it anymore on DVD. Anyway,
wait, seriously?
It's really hard to find on DVD, like the individual movies, and Criterion is one of the only ways that I found to to get it, or it's just like really expensive for some reason. It was still expensive.
Out of print DVDs, it's a bitch.
Yeah, it was still expensive on Criterion, but there was a sale, so I was like, yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, and we watched that. I rewatched that last night with my dad too, and it was great. And I was like, this is sad and happy, and I want them to be in love forever. Anyway, Love Before Sunrise, and I'm gonna make my parents watch the other 2 movies in the future. Hooray! All right, I'm gonna get through this. Here are the new movies that I have seen. Here are the 2 that did not come out this year that I watched, that were first time watches. One of them was Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which has been on my Netflix queue, I swear to God, for like several years. Oh my god, it is a comedy horror movie about 2 hillbillies who run into a group of college students when they're out vacationing in their like this cabin that they bought, and the teenagers or college students start accusing them of like the horrible deaths that start occurring and all of these evil things that start happening, and they're just trying to help. So it's a subversion of all of those types of like slasher films in which it's always like the backcountry, like, you know, folk who
that
are
actually
Alan Tudyk is in it.
Oh shit! Yeah. That actually sounds like pretty fun.
It was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. Alan Tudyk does play one of the hillbillies. He plays I think he plays Dale.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Well, I love Alan Tudyk, so
yeah,
I know, right?
the college students are so stupid. They're just like, oh my god, he's like kidnapping her, and he's trying to resuscitate this girl after she's fallen into a lake, and it's great. And then I also watched Lupin the Third: The Castle of Cagliostro. Yay!
Nice!
And it was delightful, and I loved it. And then I texted...
See, now I have to watch it, too.
You do. I texted Maddie that night, like, I watched Lupin the Third.
Got him!
The anime! Very, very happy about that. And the 2019 movies that I saw were The Lighthouse and Pain and Glory and Parasite.
Oh man,
The Lighthouse.
Oof.
Lighthouse
Yakers.
is fun. I didn't really like it that much, but it was very good. If that makes any sense.
I mean, you know,
there's plenty of movies like that in this
one part of our tagline is movies we respect.
Yes, the filmmaking is very, very good. The sound design is insane. It looks incredible. The performances are like off the wall. It's very, very fun. But I was like, I just didn't really get anything out of this ultimately. A lot of people are, and that's great.
That's
It'll probably do very well this year.
I do go ham for good sound design, so
it's amazing, Ezra. You will, and it's also like it's all like Lighthouse and Ocean sound design. So you will die.
Isn't it white and black?
It's white and black, baby, black and white.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to.
35
I'm gonna have to
35
see if
mil.
like. I hope it's still playing in Beham because I would like to go see it. I've just been like apocalyptically busy.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Pain and Glory is the new Pedro Almodovar film with Antonio Banderas,
Nice.
who was
Love it.
incredible and wonderful, and it's about a filmmaker reflecting back on his life and everything, that old story, but very, very new and refreshing. Very, very beautiful film. And then Parasite cleared my skin and paid my student loans and did my taxes for me. It was fucking amazing.
God, I want to see it.
It was, I swear to God, I can't. It's one of Parasite is, and everybody is gonna be, you know, has already been saying this all year and everything, but it's just kind of one of those movies that makes other movies like look good. Like the sheer art of movie making seems worth it just because this movie exists. You know what I mean?
That's a pretty high praise.
You know, it's
Holy
just
shit.
like so fucking good. And I don't want to say anything about the plot too much because it's really good if you don't go in with any expectations. So yeah, I saw all of those movies. It's been a hot minute.
Damn, Helen.
I've been like boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
We've also haven't recorded in a hot minute too.
We haven't.
This is fair.
And I've been going through some shit at work so I've needed some ways to
Comfort.
escape.
Yeah.
Escape.
Yes.
Escape.
Escape. Anyway.
So Helena did all of the movie watching for me. Apparently, because my what I've seen thing says ... Bon Appetit videos ? It's the same old shit. Oh, what's Ezra doing? Well, watching Critical Role. Mostly playing a lot of D&D. I play a lot of D&D. And also reading. Like, I've definitely been reading more than I've been watching stuff. I just read a book called Ink and Bone by Rachel Kane. It's the first book in a series called The Great Library.
I want to read it.
It's really good. It has really interesting world building that's not too, like, lore dump heavy. Its central conceit really fascinates me. The idea is that the Library of Alexandria was never destroyed. Instead, it was almost destroyed, and then they set up all these what they call daughter libraries, with the idea that the information wouldn't all be stored in one place. But it's not like they invented the printing press really early or something. They found out how to do like a controlled duplication of text with magic.
Ooh.
And so the idea is that everybody can get books from the library on what they call blanks, which are kind of like tablets. But it's completely controlled by the library. There is no such thing as a printing press.
Wow.
And so the library is like the single biggest political like non-governmental organization on the planet. It's everywhere.
Huh.
It's all, it's kind of all powerful and all seeing, but ostensibly benevolent. But of course, because because it's this kind of book, or is it? But it's got great characters. It's a good yarn. It was a page turner. And I really loved it. And I am eagerly awaiting. There's I think 5 books. I think the latest one just came out not that long ago. And I'm like, when is my hold gonna come in on Libby for the next one? So, yeah, that's, and also, I was having a really bad day. And so I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rewatch the pilot of The Librarians.
Yeah.
Which is a extremely fun and doofy show that I think was on TNT. It's all on Hulu now, and I realized that I had never finished. I had never watched the last season of it. It had come out. I watched the existing 3 seasons, and then the 4th one came out, but I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch it right away. So I was watching it on Hulu, just on my PS4 in the living room, and then my roommate came out and sat on the couch and was like, "Oh, what's this about?" And I got intensely embarrassed all of a sudden, because this show is not highbrow at all.
Nah.
It's definitely
That's alright, though.
It is, but it's definitely the goofiest thing that I watch. Full stop. It is the single goofiest television show that I've ever enjoyed. Because it's, it's fun and exuberantly nerdy and silly and all of this stuff, and I like all of the characters, and it just makes me happy. But I was like, oh wow, why am I suddenly so defensive about this? And then I went off into this spiral about thinking about guilty pleasure, and the idea of guilty pleasure media, and the way that I feel the need to defend things that I like if they're not sufficiently quote unquote highbrow. And I felt like that led in really well to the subject of this week's episode, which is the filmography of Sir Kenneth Charles Branagh.
That's his middle name?
His middle name is Charles. Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah. Anyway.
Fancy.
Yeah, for who despite you would not know it from the name, grew up in a really poor, shitty part of Belfast. Like, originally. He's Irish.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Northern Irish, right?
Yeah, yeah, he's from Northern Ireland. Yeah. His family, I think they moved when he was like a kid to like reading, I think, or something. But he definitely like he will periodically just be like, I am Irish, and like I consider myself Irish. Which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so the thing about, like, I uncomplicatedly love, well, sometimes complicatedly, but largely uncomplicatedly love the work of Ken Branagh. And I feel like sometimes I end up defending his movies and storytelling choices and stuff because they often are fairly... They're broad, they're broad, they're like strong emotional beats, you know. His movies are very like not up their own ass, actually. Mm-hmm. And so I was just thinking about how much like I really hate my impulse to like feel like get defensive about liking things that people think aren't like sufficiently intellectually rigorous or something, because like fuck you, I don't care. So yeah, that was my segue. Also, I would like to point out that despite this episode being about Kenneth Branagh, the first thing in the Google Doc is just wife in bold, and then it's a gif of Emma Thompson from Henry V.
Look.
Yeah, well, I love her, so you know? Whatever.
Me too.
I tried to find like literally any GIF from Henry V, and the only ones that I could find were this beautiful GIF of her just being like, he's trying to flirt with me, and he's not good at it. At the end of Henry V, and I was like,
I find that inexplicably charming.
Yeah,
she's got some really just brilliant micro expressions going on right there. So yeah, let's go ham. I was like, oh, do I need to do like a little bio of Ken Branagh? And like, no, you know what? That's what IMDb is for. Look up his fucking Wikipedia page. We're just here to talk about how much we all, and like especially Maddie and I think like I know Helena's a little bit more like qualified in her appreciation, whereas Maddie and I have this and like I especially have this thing where I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, is Ken Branagh crying on film? So am I.
Do we want to start?
I just connect with, I don't know, I just find his screen presence really compelling and accessible and emotionally resonant, and I always have.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to defend it. Like, obviously,
there I am, I'm doing it again. Yeah.
I think we all have somebody where it's like, you know, like no matter, like I just find you a extremely compelling person to watch. And I feel that way about him too. So, you know, whatever. He's obviously a bit of a polarizing figure, I think, in the film world sometimes.
Yes.
Specifically,
definitely.
like the theater world. I think we should start with his like Shakespeare adaptations, because that's like a big point of like Kenneth Branagh, the man, the myth, the legend, is his Shakespeare stuff.
Yeah.
And that's also where he started. So I think that's where we should go with.
Absolutely. So yeah, Henry V, which we all just rewatched, except for Maddie, who got to see it for the first time, which like, was such a fucking privilege to be watching that movie with you while you were seeing it for the first time.
Thank you. I cried.
He made that movie when he was 29 years old. Okay, so actually
he never directed a film before.
It came out when he was 29. He was making it when he was 28. He was younger than that when he was doing that production with the RSC, I believe.
He was 20. Kenneth Branagh is, I think, still the youngest actor to ever play Henry V at the Royal Shakespeare Company. He was 23 during the 1984-1985 RSC season. I believe it closed the season, and it was... I'd have to look... I meant to look up the person who directed it, but it was... Yeah, if you want to...
Oh my god, no! His hair!
What? Oh, it's terrible.
No, it's just...
I love it.
There's so much of it.
This production was revolutionary. It was utterly... It went against all of the conventional wisdom about what kind of play Henry V was, which was it had been defined since the Second World War by the Olivier film. This idea that it was a jingoistic kind of feel-good piece of British war propaganda, because that's what Laurence Olivier delivered at the time, because that was what people needed. And the guy who directed it,
Adrian Noble. It was fucking
Noble.
Adrian
Yeah,
Noble.
right. Thank you. It's a fucking Adrian Noble, of course. So Adrian Noble kind of just looked at this play and went, well, this is like, because Britain, it was 1984, 1985. Like, Britain was in crisis. You had the Troubles, you had Thatcher, you had all of this stuff, and they decided to use this sort of play that everybody conceived of as representing the soul of Britain to encourage some self-reflection and encourage interrogation of the legitimacy of empire and the horrors of war and all of this stuff. And it really turned this play back on itself in a fascinating way. And the centerpiece of that was casting Henry as this, at the time, I mean, the man was a twig. Like, he's not...
He's baby.
I mean, he's pretty fucking twinky in this.
You can see it in this picture. He's like, his shoulders are really broadened out with this costume, but you can see how thin he is. He's like, he's baby.
He's 23, fresh-faced, strawberry blonde, like, serious baby face, and he's physically way smaller and shorter than most of the older actors playing the lords and all of this stuff. He looks fragile.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I've seen
really
the photo now, and I just remembered the hair.
Yeah, he looks he's vulnerable and dynamic and sort of, there's this element of this, there's a promise there, but you're not sure if it's gonna make it. Mm-hmm. And you're not sure if it's gonna make it through intact. And it was just like this really, people were really, it was a big turning point in certain ways, because this was also like, there were a lot of really well-known productions happening in those 2 years. I have a thing for the history of the Royal Shakespeare Company that, like, that's a rabbit hole I don't need to go down. But then, like, he's the guy's like 27 or 28, and he's like, fuck it, I want to put that on screen.
Yeah. And
you're like, what the fuck? And it's nuts. He just,
people were really,
he recruits this, like, honor roll of British theater and film actors to be in it.
He got Brian Blessed from the stage production.
He gets Judi Dench to be in it. Mm-hmm. And she's like hardly in it, but she's there and she's fabulous.
It's like every single fucking actor in that movie is a who's who of either big name or character actor, like British actors from that generation and the next generation, and also Kenneth Branagh. Like, it's like every fucking person is in it, even if you don't know their names. And it's insane, and they're all brilliant.
This is a man who, the story he likes to tell is that he saw Derek Jacobi play Hamlet when he was 15, thought, I want to do that someday. He
fucking did it.
And then fucking got Derek Jacobi to be in fucking Henry V.
And Hamlet. After Adrian Noble directed him, Kenneth in Hamlet at the Barbican, back in like 92 or something like that.
1992 at the Barbican. Yep. Those photos are. That's it's all it's an Edwardian design, and it's really important.
Very, very important. Hey, remember Hamlet and Hamlet? Brief tangent. Remember Hamlet and Hamlet had Rosencrantz and Guildenstern?
So, Road to El Dorado gets even better when you remember that Miguel and Tulio are played by Kenneth Branagh and Kevin Kline, Hamlet and Hamlet as Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Just love it so much. Anyway, sorry.
So, yeah. Anyway, let's just, like, I need to yell about Henry V for just, like, 2 more minutes, because I just love this movie. It's such a great... It preserves everything about the emotional depth and scale of a stage production that I love, while embracing the medium of film. It does gorgeous things with close-ups and framing and people coming in and out of, like, the way that you can have blocking be really different because you control the camera, not just the stage. Like, the Traitors at Southampton, when he fucking grabs, it's all in, like, fairly wide, fairly, like, middle distance shots up until then, and then he grabs Scroop by the front of his jerkin, flips them around and slams him on the table, and all of a sudden the focus just tightens down to all you can see is both of them in profile and Henry's one bare hand on Scroop's cheek, and then the crown sitting on his chest.
Yeah.
It's
sexy.
So visceral.
It's
like,
so
sexy.
It's
sexy as fuck, not gonna lie. But it's so visceral, and the interplay of the image of the king with the man that when you see the full image of the king versus when you get drawn in and just see the man is, like, it's really, really fucking good.
And that scene, what's also super sexy, just from a filmmaking standpoint, is when Brian Blessed as the Duke of Exeter is ripping the chain, like they're what are they called?
They're just like chains of
mail or whatever.
Yeah, they're wearing these, like, big necklaces that have their, like, symbol that they're a noble on.
And he changes it because Scroop is the one that Henry has that intimate speech with, and in the script, in the original text, it's Richard Earl of Cambridge, Lord Scroop of Masham, and Thomas Grey. So they switch it in the movie, so that he rips it off. I arrest thee of high treason, Richard Earl of Cambridge. Rip. Arrest thee of high treason, Thomas Grey, Knight of Northumberland. Rip. And then I arrest thee of high treason, Henry, Lord Scroop of Masham. Rip. And then he slaps him across the face.
Slaps him in the face.
And you can see the guy throughout that scene as they're telling him, here's what's going to happen to you. You're going to fucking die. Like him just, like, so close to losing it in that
and he breaks down at the end.
He does.
He finally he starts crying. Because it slaps him and it turns his face toward the fixed camera.
Yes.
So you see all 3 of them in profile kind of lined up, and then it flips him all the way around to seeing him full face, and he breaks down. He breaks into tears.
That's the thing that I really love about this whole thing in this movie, that he tends to do with all of his stuff, but that I think is especially notable in this one, that, what you said about him being more about just pure emotion rather than like filmic tricks or, like, style, that kind of thing. It's true, because he's, like, focusing on the actors' faces and what they're thinking and their interactions with each other and what they're saying, and, like, any like long speech, pretty much, like Judi Dench, Mistress Quickly's
Mrs. Quickly,
Death of Falstaff speech, and his speech of Upon the King is, like, not very many cuts. It's just, like, them talking, and he just lets the camera sit on them and get closer and maybe close in on them a little bit, but it just lets them talk. And because he trusts the actor's ability, or his own ability, or Judi Dench's ability, or whomever, to just do the job, and the camera will capture it, and it won't be too much or too little. And I think that just works really well. It's something that I think he loses a bit later on in, like, Much Ado About Nothing. But to be fair, like, that's a different genre, so it's
a very different genre.
Yeah, it's fair if it's a bit more, like, bit more jumpy and a bit more fast-paced, but just letting the actors emote on screen and trusting them is something that I think is really valuable in that movie, and it works so well. Ugh.
And I think that part of the sort of the lingering camera shots and the way that things just, you're forced to just sit with specific things, and even like cutting stuff that's like funny or frankly kind of iconic, like the whole thing with when one of the soldiers challenges Henry to a duel when he's in disguise,
right? And
then he like has this whole thing after the battle, and he just cuts that out entirely because you want to have time to sit with these other elements of the film and with other elements of the text.
Yeah,
it gives it this elegiac quality to it that I think is just really, really not the way that you would ever have seen Henry V up until this stage production and this film.
Yeah.
But then when you see it now, it's like you can't ever go back. This take on that story complicated it so beautifully that it's like you are always going to be in dialogue with this take on this story after it happened, which is like, I don't like to talk about definitive productions of things very often, but I think in some ways this is one of the definitive productions of Henry V, and it deserves to be.
Which is funny because before it came out, not everybody, but a lot of people were, like, how dare this young person ever direct Henry V when Laurence Olivier's Henry V is the definitive, film version of Henry V.
Yeah.
And then it came out, and people were like, holy shit, man. Like, I've talked to several people, mostly of my parents' generation, who were, like, in their 30s and 20s when this came out, who saw this in theaters and were like, oh my god. Like, I've never seen Shakespeare done like this on film. It was incredible.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So,
like, whatever else your personal feelings about Kenneth Branagh and his, like, man, people really like to be like, oh, he's like so egotistical, and then I love when he's in interviews, he's like, man, people are always like, oh, like, such and such, like, he thinks he's the next Olivier, and he's like, I would be like the biggest jackass in the world to actually say that. Like, I don't think that.
He actually, he's like, I am the next Olivier, and I'm going to play him in My Week with Marilyn, and I'm going to do it better than Laurence Olivier.
And then he turns around and one, plays Laurence Olivier in My Week with Marilyn and gets nominated for an Oscar, and two, when does the Kenneth Branagh Theatre Company season at the Garrick and closes it out with a role that was originated by Laurence Olivier and knocks it out of the fucking... He's just like, you want Olivier? Fine. Fuck you.
So
chef
good.
kiss. I just... there's just this element of he's just always... Like, people really want Kenneth Branagh to be, like, a part of the ivory tower, like, British cultural establishment, and he kind of is, but there's also just this undercurrent of, like, short, scrappy asshole from Belfast under there, and it just makes everything better.
It's kind of like, if you don't know the backstory to it, he's been in the business long enough now where he does have a lot of influence and what's the word I'm looking for? Not power necessarily, but like, where he is considered
Cachet.
Part of that, like, that group of, like, powerful, influential British stage actors. But there was a time when, like, of course, he was the one who was, like, the outsider and the interlocutor, back when it was much, much worse and much more classist and anti-Irish than it is now. It still is, I'm sure, but, like, back when he was starting in the 80s and 70s, like, whew.
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I do have one issue with him. I have only one issue with him, and it's a big issue, but we can get to that later when we talk about What to Do About Nothing. But it's not anything to do with his work. It's just him.
It has nothing to do with his work. No, I absolutely I know where you're going with this, and
Let's get into it. Let's just use that as a segue into much ado.
All right.
So let's talk about Ken and Emma.
He was married to Emma Thompson.
Let's talk about Ken and Emma.
He was married to Emma Thompson, who was one of the most beautiful women to ever exist on this planet.
He fucked it up.
And he cheated on her with Helena Bonham Carter, and he's a dumbass.
Believe it.
And what's hilarious to me about that is, I remember thinking this when he made that live action Cinderella, is that he was with Helena Bonham Carter for a relatively brief period of time, and then she started dating Tim Burton, and she was with Tim Burton for yonks. She was with him for yonks. She was with him for yonks. She was with Kenneth Branagh for 5 years, and then
for 2 seconds.
With Tim Burton for 13 years, and then she broke up with him in 2014. And I'm trying to get the timeline of this right. Cinderella came out in 2015, which she was in as the fairy godmother. It was the first movie that she did after breaking up with Tim Burton, who had the monopoly on her film career for a decade, and the first movie that she does is a Kenneth Branagh movie. I don't know.
Yikes.
Shit happens, okay?
It just... Oh, I forgot Derek Jacobi was in this. Holy shit. Of course he is. Anyway.
Yeah, he is. Oh my god, that movie breaks my fucking heart. Okay, you brought it up, which means that we have to dip into this. I love the live-action Cinderella. I own two films.
Good.
I own 2 films on Blu-ray. I don't really believe in Blu-rays, whatever, I don't care. You know what they are? They are Kenneth Branagh's Cinderella and Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express.
I forgot what the second one was.
It is because they're just both so lush. Every single detail of every frame of that Cinderella is... It's production designed exquisitely. The costumes are fabulous. The color palettes are super perfect. And they're really evocative, and the way that in a way that is very in keeping with the kind of broad strokes fairy tale storytelling. The performances are fucking great, and Richard Madden and they have great chemistry, and then the prince's dad dies, and it's really upsetting.
Oh,
and there's
right,
this beautiful,
this
beautiful shot. So it's Richard, because Derek Jacobi plays the king, and so he dies, and Richard Madden breaks down into tears, as you would if your beloved parent just died in front of you, and he is sitting in a chair, and he gets up and he curls up next to his father's body on his bed, and the camera just pulls up, and there's no cut. It just pulls up and away and spirals up and up and up and up and up into a fade to give him privacy, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And oh my god, why am I blanking on her fucking name?
Lily James.
And it's Lily James, who is just radiant, and I love her in everything. And the two of them are they're the right age for one another. They're perfectly reasonable as a romantic couple, and they have gangbusters chemistry, and Cate Blanchett is in that movie, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, Richard Madden and Lily James also played Romeo and Juliet together in the Kenneth Branagh
they
did.
Yes, they did.
Which is so funny, because it's Richard Madden dies on Game of Thrones, and then Kenneth Branagh's I'm adopting you now, and casts Cinderella.
Yes.
What's that like to wear some tight pants like everybody else I've known in my life, cast in these movies?
Look, I'm just saying, I try not to cast
pants.
aspersions on any... I try not to make assumptions or comments about anybody's sexual orientation who I don't actually know. All I'm gonna say right now is Kenneth Branagh really likes to cast very, very, very attractive young men and then put them in just unfathomably tight pants. So the thing, so they took all these photos to do the posters and stuff for Cinderella, And Richard Madden's pants were so tight that they had to airbrush out his penis.
God.
So not only the tight pants in Much Ado About Nothing, the tight pants in Cinderella, all of those shots of Tom Hiddleston's crotch as Loki in the first Thor movie, like Ken.
Look, mood.
The man just knows how to photograph and appreciate beautiful men as well as beautiful women. Which, thank you.
There's not that much else to say about Much Ado About Nothing. That's kind of the plot. Is like there's a bunch of really beautiful young men, and they wear really tight pants in it. And Emma Thompson
and they have a lot of feelings.
Emma Thompson is like transcendent, and the reason I am the person I am today.
She is everything in that movie.
Yeah.
Like. That watching Emma Thompson play Beatrice is like you're sitting there and you're like, they say that Hamlet is like the whole human experience, and I kind of want you to play Hamlet, but I also feel like you don't need to because I just saw you play the whole human experience.
Yeah.
That's it. Fuck, I love that movie.
A couple things related to Much Ado. One, I didn't see it until like last year or the year before.
Yeah.
But literally the day I was bored, it was in theater. You guys have heard the story a million times.
Yeah, I love
it.
It
cracks me up. The day I was bored, my parents were like, well, fuck it, baby's due in 4 days. And they walked around the mall and went to go see that and got out of Much Ado. And apparently I, in utero, was like, dude, it's time to fucking exist if this is the shit that's in the world. And like pretty soon after that, they went to the hospital and I showed up.
You heard Keanu Reeves and you were just like, yeah, that's right.
I want to be where that is.
Time.
Yeah.
I want to be.
And then the second thing is the fact that Keanu Reeves was in this movie and we all know was not great.
It's bad.
Bless his heart was not great.
So bad, but it's so perfect.
I know. He was not. It was not the best. But he was surrounded by all these fucking phenomenal actors. And instead of being like, well, I can just coast on my Neo fame forever. He wasn't Neo yet.
But
what the fuck was? How the fuck did they end up in that movie then? Oh, Bill and Ted.
I mean, other stuff.
I could coast on. Yeah, but he could coast on Bill and Ted forever, and he was like, you know what? Actually, no. I'm going to get better at my craft because, like...
Oh, you know what else he had done?
What?
My Own Private Idaho and Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh,
a little movie called and Point Break. But also...
He had done Bram Stoker. When did that fucking movie come
92.
out? We just saw it. Oh, you're right.
Bram Stoker's Dracula, baby.
Yeah, but he was in this movie with all these phenomenal actors, and instead of being like, well, whatever, I guess, he was like, oh... These people are, like, masters at their craft, and, like, that is something that I should do as well. Even though he was already pretty well known, he decided, no, I'm gonna go, he went back and took acting classes to, like, get better at his craft because of this movie, so you can think Much Ado About Nothing for John Wick.
I love.
And The Matrix.
Fuck yeah. Also, just, like, shout out to the fucking location, all of the location shooting in Tuscany, where it's just, like, you cannot buy or manufacture that fucking sunlight. No. And, like, everybody just looks so, like, luminous at all times.
This movie has one of my favorite openings ever, which begins with them, like, after Emma Thompson is reading this letter or poem in the tree, and then, the messenger arrives, they have the overture, which is like this bombastic, like, and with all of the men that come back from the war on horseback, and it's every single time there's like a big chord. There's a shot of every single one of them on horseback, like coming back from war.
And they get closer each time. It's like the Weeping Angels.
It's so good. It's like Kenneth Branagh, Denzel Washington, Robert Sean Leonard, Keanu Reeves, and even the guy playing Baraccio and
everybody's
Conrad.
got great hair and these
and they
white double-breasted jackets,
proud of themselves.
And they all just look so hot.
It's
and
so good.
They just look so self-satisfied. and then cut to immediately, and they're like, oh, they're all coming back, and everybody's like, time to get naked. And then it's just like butts
everywhere, man.
Because everyone's just like joyfully like strips down and like takes a bath. I don't know. I don't care. It's all this like billowing white linen and then just like flashes of ass of like various genders, and like everyone's just so beautifully exuberant. It's great.
I'm gonna share the YouTube video with you so we can tweet it out when it happens. It really does, if you haven't seen it, it really does need to be seen to be appreciated.
Absolutely.
It's very, very
Okay.
special. Anyway, let's talk about other stuff.
God. This fucking Google Doc is so long. This is, beloved listeners, I would just like to point out, so originally this episode was going to come out on my birthday. So me screaming about Ken Branagh movies for like an hour is something we've always, like, something we have been planning to do, but is also kind of my birthday present from Maddie and Helena.
Happy birthday!
Yes, because the originally we had an episode come out on your birthday. And so we were going to be like, for Ezra's birthday, we're going to let them talk about what they want to talk about, which is Kenneth Branagh. And then it didn't end up working out. So this is Ezra's birthday episode. I was going to mention it at the beginning, but I didn't want to be like, everyone shut the fuck up. It's Ezra's birthday now.
Fair.
But it's Ezra's birthday, so.
Thank you. So we should pivot to, so Ken Branagh has all of this success, and especially like when he and Emma Thompson were married, like people just went absolutely, like the press, they just went fucking nutters for the two of them. They were just this like next in this long line of golden couples, like Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor.
Yep.
And you know, they were getting talked about like that though, like Maggie Smith and Richard or Robert Stevens.
Sure.
You know, these great, who are Toby Stevens' parents, incidentally.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
Weird.
Maggie Smith is Toby Stevens' mom.
The shit you just never learn when you don't pay attention.
This is true. And then he just some shit happens, like his adaptation of Frankenstein was not particularly well received. We've seen it. Maddie and I watched it together. I think pretty drunk when we watched that movie, which was fun. It's all over. I think it's actually like, it does justice to the tone of the novel. It is very much a gothic thriller. But mostly I spent a lot of time yelling, "Give Ken Branagh pneumonia again." I don't want it anyway.
That's actually, it's actually credited, much like Bram Stoker's Dracula. That is credited as Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Mary Shelley's Dracula.
She produced it.
Mary Shelley's Dracula, which is what I said.
Mary Shelley woke up from a trance where she was, having sex with her boyfriend on the graveyard somewhere when she was, 18 or something. It was like, hold on, I have to time travel and produce an adaptation of the novel I'm going to write. While fucking Lord Byron is doing coke on a lake somewhere. Bye.
Yeah, then she died
again.
And then she died again.
Yep.
So, and just like he sort of, some of his kind of early success blew up in his face a little bit. There was a lot of backlash. And he kind of just had a weird dead period where he wasn't making a lot of like big scale films. And then I swear I'm getting somewhere, but then like the one of the big things that that really kind of put him back on the map in terms of like film and television stuff, which he had never really done that much TV before, was the Wallander series, which aired on PBS, which is an adaptation.
Depression.
Yeah, it's Depression, the detective show. You thought fucking Broadchurch was sad.
I honestly, Wallander is like genuinely some of his best work. Like, he is.
Oh, it's fucking phenomenal,
amazing and everything. But I'm just like, oh man, it's just somebody who has aged into this role, and they're just really he's perfect for that part, and he's really wonderful in it.
He's so the thing with Kurt Wallander is that part of the reason that he's a good detective, but it's really hard for him, is that he's been doing this for a really, really long time. He's a detective with the Stockholm Police Department. He goes all over the place. He's kind of like Sweden's best murder investigator, effectively. But the thing about him is that he just has never really developed any like emotional calluses.
Oh no, he's raw. Like,
he's
to the nerve.
He's a raw nerve all the time. Every single case gets to him like it's his first murder investigation.
Yes.
And Kenneth Branagh is good at a great number of things, but one of the things I think that he is best at is just pure emotional vulnerability on screen. He just hurts really compellingly. Which is like a kind of awful thing to say, but it's true. You know, he does fragility in a way that not a whole lot of other men do on screen.
He's very vulnerable, and it's like cathartic to watch him in some way.
Yeah, it can be really hard to watch too, because it's just he's just a wreck for so much of that show, and also just like the rest of it's shot fucking gorgeously. It's almost all of it's set in the summer in southern Sweden, so there's just these beautiful landscapes and this like crazy lighting and all this stuff, and baby-faced, golden curly haired Tom Hiddleston,
wee lad,
in full-on wee lad mode,
baby boy,
where people are like from before Loki fame.
That's the first thing I saw him in, was Wallander.
Yeah, it's the first thing that I saw him in too. Was Wallander. He plays one of the other kind of investigating
like tech
people.
guy.
Yeah, he's like their tech guy. And he and Ken Branagh, he and Kurt Wallander have this really interesting kind of antagonistic but close relationship.
Yeah, they have a back and forth. That's good.
Yeah. And so this is where we get into it's time for Ezra to run really fast through the story of how Ken Branagh made Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Because he kind of did. So Tom, it's oh fuck, I don't even remember what year it is. I'd have to look this up again. I was gonna make a timeline and then I fucking didn't every time. So, flashback to whatever year it is, like 2005 or something. The Donmar warehouse, under I think Sam Mendes was still the artistic director, mounts a very high-profile production of Othello, starring Chiwetel Ejiofor as Othello, and Ewan McGregor, who has not been on stage in a very long time, as Iago.
Sexy.
Which is like, where can I get my hands on this production?
There is
Please,
if you are
God.
curious, there is no video, but there is a commercially available audio of it.
Fine.
They recorded it, and it is fucking stunning. And playing Michael Cassio is a newcomer fresh out of the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art called Tom Hiddleston.
Sorry.
He looks like the man looks like he's made out of toothpicks. He has this shock of like golden curly hair. He looks like a golden retriever. And he gives this really unusual performance as Cassio, where most Cassios these days are somehow sleazy. Like they're just not as innocent as they claim to be. Nobody plays Cassio as being as innocent as he claims to be. And then Tom Hiddleston comes along, and everything about him is innocent, youthful, exuberant feeling, maliciously misinterpreted, and it's heartbreaking. Because he looks like he's fucking angelic, and he just gets caught up in this, and he can't understand why Iago would possibly want to hurt him at all. And he holds his own. He's fucking like luminous, playing against Chiwetel Ejiofor and Ewan McGregor, who are like, people are flying in from all over the world to see them in Othello, and they're coming out talking about Tom Hiddleston. So Ken Branagh goes to see this and is like, holy, it's just like, I'm on fire, this kid's amazing. Gets him an audition and ends up in a production of Chekhov's Ivanov, which gets mounted on the West End like a year or two later. And Kenneth Branagh hasn't been on stage in like 9 or 10 years. He hasn't made a high-profile or commercially successful movie in quite a while. He's kind of this weird... He's starting to feel like this weird story of kind of like live fast, die young kind of a thing. Not actually die, but like careers-wise. And this play is a smash hit. He wins an Olivier. It is this crazy success because especially, and like Ivanov's not even that good a play. Like it's one of Chekhov's earlier works. It's basically Chekhov does Hamlet. It's really not one of his great works, but this production is fucking just like apeshit great. And then he goes on, he's like, come do Wallander with me. And then he gets offered the Thor directing gig and is like, I want Tom Hiddleston for this.
Yeah.
Who originally auditioned, he put on like 25 pounds of muscle to audition for Thor, and then they were like, oh, buddy,
no,
not gonna happen.
No.
But we want you to be Loki. he got fucking yoked, and then they were like, pinch his nose.
Wrong
I have
brother.
some bad news. And so that's the story of why I laugh really hard whenever people post that GIF set of Chris Hemsworth being like, haha, I'm Tom Hiddleston's #1 fan, and I'm like, Kenneth Branagh, like, just sipping a cocktail in the distance, like, sure, buddy.
Yeah, no, they're like, they are symbiotic. They have, like, helped create both of each other's careers. Kenneth Branagh, especially with Tom Hiddleston, though.
Absolutely, but also like that relationship really like also revitalized his career. And then this was last year or 2 years ago now. So they had, like, we know they've been making reference to it. They've been talking about Ken directing Tom and Hamlet for a really long time. And of course,
have they?
Oh god, because it happened and nobody saw it. You know why? They finally are like, let's just make this happen. Like, our schedules are, like, the stars are never going to align for us to be able to do this as a big thing. What we're going to do is we're going to mount a production for RADA, because they both are alumni of the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. And they, as a benefit, they do a super limited run, tickets available only by lottery, where Tom Hiddleston plays Hamlet, but the rest of the cast are students from RADA.
Ooh.
He comes back, and it was like 3 weeks of performances or something, tiny little theater. I don't actually know anybody who saw it. Like, I read stuff from people who saw it, and it was exactly what you would have expected out of that collaboration. Tom Hiddleston was it was just really fucking sad but beautifully sad, beautiful attention to text, beautiful just space for emotions to breathe, etc., etc., etc. And one more thing, I'm sorry this is taking so long, but this is just like, I get super emotional about this, whatever, don't ignore me. So this is, people thought this was apocryphal, but it might be semi-apocryphal, but there's this story that there is a red leather-bound copy of Hamlet that I believe Laurence Olivier had when he played the role. He gave it to Derek Jacobi.
It was originally John Gielgud's, I think.
It was originally Gielgud's, that's what it is. So Gielgud has this red leather-bound copy of Hamlet. He gives it to Olivier. Olivier gives it to Derek Jacobi. And Derek Jacobi in like 1992 gives it to Kenneth Branagh. And he just keeps it. And so, and it's sort of it occasionally comes up as like, oh, like, who's he going to give it to? Who's he going to give it to? Well, he directed Tom Hiddleston in Hamlet, and he gave him the Hamlet.
Yeah.
So Tom Hiddleston now has the red leather-bound Gielgud Hamlet.
The idea was that they would each pass it off to who they thought was the best, like, Hamlet of their generation, or like that particular actor's generation. I really just want to see, I know that the ages aren't quite right, I just really want to see a production of Hamlet with Hiddleston again, and Kenneth Branagh playing the father. But I would also die.
Would die.
Because, like,
My
also,
gentle gas.
because, like,
Yeah.
obviously, yes, Claudius, but also, just, like, I just want to see him, like,
I want him
hold his
to
son.
play the ghost dad.
You know?
I mean, he should just do the thing where he plays both, because that's the best.
Oh, stop.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yes.
That's
Oh,
my
yes,
favorite.
yes.
Yeah, please,
God.
come on. No.
Oh, fuck.
I gotcha. Also, this is me, and I would just like to point out that I called this in 2012, so when it eventually happens, I will feel very vindicated, but I am reiterating it now. It'll be on the internet for everyone to see. Someday, Kenneth Branagh is going to play King Lear. And I think that Tom Hiddleston is going to play the fool.
Oh, stop. I hate
I'm
you.
just...
I hate you. I
I am
can't
a
fucking
menace.
believe this. Oh, God.
Hey, Ezra, do you reckon... Oh, okay, no. No, he'll be too old.
What?
It won't work. I was gonna be like, who's gonna play Kent? And I was like, it would be really sweet if Derek Jacobi could play Kent, but the ages won't be right. But, yeah. Anyway.
Agony.
I'm in agony, yeah.
I'm so glad that we all just made ourselves sad on our own fucking podcast.
Having a Hamlet feeling over here. Sorry.
Having a Hamlet
Oh,
feeling.
God.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, speaking of feelings, like, Kenneth Branagh directs movies where he lets men cry, and I think it's really important.
Yeah.
And they don't angry cry either.
They don't
like,
just-
it is
so much crying in Henry V. There's so much crying.
Yeah.
And,
Because men are allowed to cry when they're frustrated, when they're sad, when they feel betrayed, when they're just overwhelmed. Like, they get to inhabit the full range of human emotional vulnerability without ever having that, like, oh shit, now I gotta put it all back in the masculinity box afterward. Like, Kenneth Branagh is in Dunkirk for like 10 fucking minutes. One, he looks like unreasonably fucking sexy in that movie. It's ridiculous.
True.
I don't have a thing for naval uniforms. What are you talking about?
Shut up. Don't talk to me.
Don't at me. But
Yeah.
he gets like the best line in that whole movie where he's like, you can practically see it from here. And the dude he was in Agent Carter. What's his fucking name?
I don't know.
He's in what?
It's
What's
James
his bucket?
Darcy, not
Ah,
Brian
yes.
Darcy James, who's the guy who's a Broadway
Yeah.
star. James Darcy's like, what? And he just says home, and his voice breaks a little bit, and he's like,
Hate it.
he's tearing up, and I'm just like, oh cool, I'm crying in the club, this is fine.
The moment that always gets
There's-
me in... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Maddie.
I was gonna say the moment in Dunkirk, and maybe this is also the one you're thinking of, the part at the end where they're like, "Oh, they came for us," and they're like, "Ken, do you want to come?" And he's like, "No, I'm gonna stay for them." And they're like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm gonna stay for the French."
yeah.
Ken, do you
Yeah.
want to come? Come on, Ken. His
Ken,
name's
get in the
His
boat.
character's name's Ken.
Please, like, please, you're, like, important. He's like, no, I believe.
No.
Ken, literally, you're in charge of all these people, and he's like, "No, send them back. I'm gonna wait for the French." And it's like, stop.
I was actually gonna
Stop
say, I was
it.
gonna pivot to my favorite, the moment that always, like, gets me, that I thought in Henry V, I mean, multiple moments, but there's one moment that I thought, like, as I was watching, I was like, I'm not crying yet. And then all of a sudden, it was like that kind of, like, upwelling of emotion, where just like,
Yeah.
so it's the
Are
moment.
you talking about the?
No, yeah, what?
No, I'm just sorry. I'm preempting your sentence. Please. Finish.
I'd be happy to know what your guess is, but it's multiple moments. But this one in particular was the towards the end, after they have killed all of the boys, and he's had the moment with Montjoy where he's like, oh, we've won, and he's just kind of standing there looking a little bit desolate. It's like, well, that was fucking for nothing, wasn't it? And Ian Holm as Llewellyn comes up to him and has the speech about I'm Welsh, you're fucking Welsh, I'm happy to be Welsh as long as you're an honest and good man. And he does that whole thing about I am Welsh, and then he hugs him and, like, cries into his shoulder, his little tiny Ian Holm shoulder, and then he just holds him and says, like, I am your majesty's countryman, and all that stuff. And Kenneth Branagh just is like, he's not like sobbing anymore, but he's just making these little, like, there's just these sounds of, like, trying to breathe, but he's just exhausted and crying and broken at the same time, but he's also joyful in that moment, and it's just like gets me every single fucking time, and I just overloaded like a laptop fan. Anyway. Gets me.
And then just the no
bistomine. The other moment that did that to me, like the same exact reaction, was earlier in the tavern when they're all saying goodbye to Hostess quickly, and Nim is like, I'm not gonna kiss you, but I will give you this token of my affection. And I'm like, oh, you're all gonna die, you're never gonna see each other again.
Oh, the one that gets me is the execution of
Bardolph.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Richard Briers. Yeah.
Oh god, I just remembered, man, rest in peace Richard Briers. There's a fantastic made-for-TV production of The Winter's Tale of Twelfth Night that has nothing to do with Kenneth Branagh, but Richard Briers played Malvolio, and Adrian Noble is in it as Festi. Find it, like, it's at the library and shit. It's so fucking good. It's a filmed stage production, so, like, if you're not into that, you're not into that, but it is one of my favorite Twelfth Nights.
Dope.
Like, obviously we're gonna do a Shakespeare adaptations episode or series of episodes at some point, and I'll yell about it more later, but that just reminded me.
Yeah, we're talking about all the sexy versions of Twelfth Night, including the one where Toby Stephens plays Orsino and I die.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, hey. Oh, yeah.
Excuse me?
Thanks. Googling at the moment. Got you.
So that is a good segue into, if you like filmed productions of Shakespeare specifically and plays in general, they are re-releasing The Winter's Tale that was from the Kenneth Branagh Theatre Company at the plays at the Garrick from 2017, I think, which stars Kenneth Branagh and Hadley Fraser and Judi Dench. And it is coming back to theaters this December. Some places earlier in the month. Like, I know up where I am, it's not until the 22nd, but like, it's playing all over the place. If you have the opportunity to go see it, I highly encourage you to do so. It is a just really, really warm-hearted and rich take on the play. The design is really great, and it has a very... Everybody in that play, or almost everybody in that play, is middle-aged in a way that I think makes it really interesting, where it's all of the conflicts and things that have happened have so much weight because it's people who have known and loved each other for most of their lives turning on one another and having things fall apart, and it's just really meaty. And obviously, like, Judi Dench is a national goddamn treasure, and her performance in this play is fucking aces, and you should go see it if you have a chance.
She's incredible.
She's just incredible. And Hadley Fraser and Kenneth Branagh have gangbusters chemistry.
Yeah, don't talk to me about that. Do not talk to me about that. When he shows up in Murder on the Orient Express, and like for 5 minutes at the very beginning, and the first time I saw that in theaters with former podcast guests and friend of the pod, Leia, of course, and I was watching this and I was like, are they is it? Because there's a weird energy, and I was like, are they flirting? But are they gonna? And then, I don't know, he says something to him that's kind of a double entendre, but not really, where I was like, Hercule, he really cares about you in a way that he never would if it was being played by anybody else right now.
Yeah.
And Hadley Fraser has a mustache. I'm dying. Stop this. I love him.
There's two movies where Hadley Fraser gives blink and you'll miss it gorgeous performances with terrible mustaches, and they are Les Mis and Murder on the Orient Express.
Boy, sucks. It kind of sucks how the best performance
Fraser
in Les Mis was Hadley Fraser, and he was barely in it, huh?
I know, right? Seriously, where you're like, Hadley Fraser was literally in that film for actually less than a minute.
3 seconds, yeah.
It's like the length of like a slow inhale and exhale, and he's still better than like half the people in that movie.
No offense to the actors who are still in that movie, particularly George Blackton, whom I love dearly, but like, and I'm also rewatching Vikings right now. What's up, George? But like,
friend of the podcast, George.
Friend of the podcast, George Blackton. Friend of my heart, George Blackton. Also Ross Grantaire shipper. Noted Ross Grantaire shipper, George Blackton.
Yeah, George Blackton.
The only person from whom I will actually accept Ross Grantaire shipping, George Blackton.
But yeah, it's just the best in the film. Anyway.
And one more fun thing of if you want to see Kenneth Branagh be like overtly homoerotic, he did not direct Lawrence Fishburne in Othello. He's just in it as Iago.
Oh no.
His Iago is a homosexual. Like,
as it should be.
I mean, like, kind of as it should be, but also, like, it's gay, and it's great. Like, Lawrence Fishburne is fucking killer in that role. There's a bunch of fabulous people in it. But, like, their relationship is so well played out, but it is also just, like, man, people apparently, like, after that movie came out, they were like, that was pretty, homoerotic, and
it's like,
and he
Iago
absolutely said something to the effect of, like, oh, that's how I am with all my friends, or something like that, and I'm like,
well, he has a whole, Iago has a whole speech about, like, how he's describing the setup to Othello, where he talks about being in bed with Cassio and stroking him, and Cassio calling out Desdemona's name in his sleep while he's with him, and it's like, hello? That's just the play. That's just what he wrote. And Kenneth Branagh was just like, oh yeah, it's just what he wrote. So, I'm just saying.
Any final thoughts we should
my final thoughts are don't watch Wild West. Please save yourself.
I was not expecting that.
Do watch The Road to El Dorado with
do watch The Road to El Dorado. I'm gonna there's this weird little movie, if you can find it, that's called A Month in the Country. Oh no, yeah, it's called A Month in the Country. That I think that has like it's like from like 1987. It has like infant Ken Branagh and Colin Firth in it, and they're both traumatized World War I veterans who are like wandering around in the Lake District, and Ken Branagh's like fixing up an old church or something. It's real sweet and real gay.
I remember this. Yes, sir.
I have that. Yeah, that's if you can find it, do that. And also, I can't remember what festival circuit it was, but it was fairly early on. Kenneth Branagh had a film at some festival, and there was a weird fucking adaptation of Romeo and Juliet that was very like edgy and like BDSM influenced or something, playing at the same festival. And of course Mr. Shakespeare or whatever, they ask him about it. And he's like, I mean, on the one, he's like, honestly, like, Romeo and Juliet was supposed to be, like, racy and titillating, so sure. And then they're like, he's, like, looking at, like, the like, some kind of page of just, like, fast facts about this film, and you can find this interview, and he just says something to the he just says the phrase, it's like, soundtrack by Arse Ponies. And just with this, just in this like perfect, like, that's interesting deadpan.
No.
And so for a really long time, my fucking tag for Ken Branagh on my mostly defunct Tumblr was soundtrack by Arse Ponies.
Perfect. And on that note,
I will see myself and the podcast out.
We'll be back. Don't worry. You can't get rid of us that easy.
If you hit that subscribe button, we're just always there in your phone.
Terrifying.
Yelling about Kenneth Branagh films.
Yelling.
Thank Thanks for hanging out with us here on Sneople at the Movies from the Infinity Break Network. Check out infinitybreak.net for more awesome content, and come hit us up on Twitter at people_snake, or shoot us an email at sneopleatthemovies@gmail.com. Our amazing music was done by Johnny Ronaldo, who you can find at Johnny Ronaldo on Twitter. Our super snazzy logo was designed by Bethany Leuthold. Check her out at Bethany Leuthold, that's LEUTHOLD.wixsite, WIXSITE.com. If you've got a subject you want to hear us talk about, a movie you absolutely think we need to see, or if you want Ezra to dig out a collection of weird Ken Brand themed Valentines that somebody posted on Tumblr a million years ago, come say hello. Also, if you can, please leave a review on iTunes and share the show with any friends who you think would enjoy it. Any way you can help spread the news really helps us keep our momentum going, and we would really appreciate it. As always, thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the movies.
Thank you.